Liverpool rocked by shock twists on and off the pitch. Don't miss a second. Subscribe now for instant Reds updates, exclusives, and breaking alerts.
News headline: Slot out. Liverpool must appoint record-breaking interim before world-class summer hire. Liverpool must sack manager Arne Slot immediately after they fell to yet another defeat against Bournemouth in the Premier League on Saturday night. The Reds fell behind to an Evanilson goal in the first half after Virgil van Dijk failed to clear the ball, before Alex Jimenez raced through to double their lead with a fine strike into the corner. Van Dijk pulled one back before halftime with a header, before a Dominic Szoboszlai free kick in the second half leveled the game up, only for Amin Adli to score in the 95th minute to earn all 3 points for the Cherries. It leaves the defending champions 14 points off league leaders Arsenal, having played a game more, and they could drop down to 7th if results go against them on Sunday, and that should be enough for the board to call time on Slot's career at Anfield. Steven Gerrard, the perfect interim manager. When speculation was rampant earlier in the season during their initial poor run of results, it emerged that Liverpool had held talks with former captain and club legend Steven Gerrard about taking over. Obviously, a change in the dugout never materialized, but it was also made clear that Gerrard would be open to returning to Anfield as manager. But since then, there has been a major change in the managerial world, and it could work perfectly for Liverpool to maximize the situation. Real Madrid continued their ruthless streak by sacking Xabi Alonso as their manager earlier this month, and the former Anfield hero is now a free agent, having been strongly linked with a move to the club to replace Jurgen Klopp in the summer of 2024. Liverpool will not overpay for Marc Guehi. By sacking Slot now, the club would need an immediate lift, and there is arguably nothing better than bringing back arguably their greatest ever player in a time of need, but he doesn't need to be the permanent solution. Gerrard would be the perfect interim manager to help get the club back on track and secure Champions League qualification for next season before a new permanent appointment in the summer. Alonso can take over from Gerrard in the summer. Gerrard is probably not the best option to go in permanently, considering his record as a manager in most places, but the fans will be behind him in the short term. If he is able to secure Champions League qualification, it would be set up perfectly for Alonso to step in permanently in the summer. The Spaniard would get a full pre-season and be able to speak to the board about getting some signings over the line too to strengthen the squad, rather than coming in mid-season with a thin squad that may not suit his needs. Either way, it's clear that Slot isn't the man anymore, and Liverpool have a very easy escape route here that would save their season and also set them up perfectly for the future. It's their dream appointment, and they now have the pathway to get it done. News headline: Liverpool player ratings as 5 Reds 5 out of 10 in miserable last-gasp defeat at Bournemouth. Ian Doyle with the Liverpool player ratings and scores from the Premier League clash at Bournemouth on Saturday evening. Liverpool saw their unbeaten run ended in dramatic fashion when they lost to the last kick of the match against Bournemouth in the Premier League on Saturday evening. After Virgil van Dijk and Dominic Szoboszlai dragged Liverpool back level after going behind to first-half strikes from Evanilson and Alex Jimenez, a series of fortunate deflections allowed Amin Adli to score in the 5th of 4 minutes of additional time. The result means Arne Slot's side lost for the first time in 14 games and are likely to drop out of the Champions League qualification places this weekend. The Echo was in attendance at the Vitality Stadium, and here we run the rule over the performance of the Liverpool players. Couldn't prevent the opening goal and injured Gomez in the process, then got megged for the second and very unlucky with the third. Jeremy Frimpong, 6. Unable to threaten as much as he would have liked going forward first half and some wobbly moments in defense, subbed. Joe Gomez, 7. Played some good passes into midfield before his evening was ended early when colliding with Alisson, subbed. Virgil van Dijk, 6. All very comfortable until misjudged long ball to allow Bournemouth their first goal, atoned a bit with header that pulled one back. Milos Kerkez, 5. Clearly targeted by Jimenez on the wind-up and then lost the winger for the Bournemouth second, probably too emotionally invested on his first return here, subbed. Ryan Gravenberch, 6. Too many moments of hesitation before break when he could have shot or played a killer pass, much to his own frustration as anyone else. Better second half and close with one drive. Booked. Alexis McAllister, 6. Started well with some good passing forward from midfield, but struggled to impose himself consistently after that. Subbed. Mohamed Salah, 5. First half more potential than end product, and then lacked quality at key times, but could claim assist for Szoboszlai free kick. Dominik Szoboszlai, 7. Flitted in and out somewhat before break, but delivery on point for corner to set up Van Dijk goal. Went to right back for the last half hour and converted another brilliant free kick. Florian Wirtz, 7. The one Liverpool player who consistently looked like he could conjure anything before the interval, and while not quite as effective second half, was still running hard late on and prompted great save from Petrovic. Cody Gakpo, 5. In for the rested Ekitike, no faulting effort, but ran into opponents far too often first half before diminishing returns. Subbed. Substitute, Wataru Endo for Gomez, 35. Big ask coming in at center-back and looked extremely rusty initially, but grew into the game with some experienced play. Andy Robertson for Kerkez, 46. Some raiding runs down the left, but crossing didn't really find the mark. Hugo Ekitike for McAllister, 59. Struggled a bit due to sheer weight of Bournemouth's defensive numbers. Subbed. Curtis Jones for Frimpong, 59. Knocked off the ball far too easily at times during his cameo. Subbed. Rio Mumo for Gakpo, 74. Brought pace and a new problem for Bournemouth, and one free kick for Liverpool's second.
News headline: Path clears for Richard Hughes to sign $87 million Yan Diomande. News and details: Liverpool made big changes to their front line last summer. Sporting director Richard Hughes oversaw the signings of Florian Wirtz and Alexander Isak on British record deals, while Hugo Ekitike was also signed at considerable expense. But the Premier League champions are not done yet. There are indications that more big spending could be conducted up front, if not in January, then in the summer 2026 transfer market. Arne Slot currently has a need for wingers on both sides of attack. Mohamed Salah, although an all-time Liverpool great, looks set to depart for the Saudi Pro League at the end of this season. His exit would require a big-name arrival on the right side, and the Reds' decision-makers may feel an improvement could be found for Cody Gakpo on the left side, with fans frequently feeling let down by the Dutchman's overall contributions. Diomande, the dream signing for Liverpool. One player tipped to solve both problems is the RB Leipzig winger Yan Diomande. The 19-year-old can play either side and has been excellent for the Red Bull-owned club during his first Bundesliga season. Ivorian international Diomande joined Leipzig from Leganés in Spain last summer for a bargain £18 million. His current employers contracted the forward until 2030 and have got big plans to cash in next summer. A bid of $87 million would bring Red Bull to the table, and Liverpool have got a keen edge in negotiations due to the player's preference for a move to Anfield. And Liverpool can take even more encouragement because it seems no rival club is prepared to bring forward an offer that large in this January window. No club will pay $87 million in January. Sky Sports reports that teams including Tottenham, Manchester United, Paris Saint-Germain, and Bayern Munich have been put off making a bid this month, adding that Liverpool are unlikely to find the cash this winter either. But the report describes Diomande as one of the main protagonists ahead of the summer window, when Liverpool will be in pole position for his signature. He has described Anfield as his dream move, and Bayern already believe he is set to move to the Premier League champions. Red Bull won't be selling to anyone else this winter, and with Liverpool primed as favorites, we can expect Diomande to land in Merseyside in time for next season.
News headline: Liverpool's game changer is here, and Arne Slot has to finally unleash him. Arne Slot's game changer is finally here, and he will be unleashed at Liverpool. Things are looking a bit bleak at Anfield right now. You cannot blame any supporter of the club for feeling let down. Liverpool simply haven't been good enough all season. Slot has gone on a run of 5 wins in his last 18 Premier League matches. That's not good enough as a manager of a mid-table team, let alone as manager of the Reds. Anyone feeling frustrated is perfectly within their rights to feel that way, especially when Liverpool just keep facing the same problems over and over again. Against Bournemouth, it was ultimately a set-piece situation. A long ball thrown into the box caused disarray at the heart of Liverpool's defense and ultimately led to the Cherries getting the winner. It's hard to find any positives from that defeat. The way it unfolded is, well, just depressing. But if there was one silver lining, it was the introduction of Rio Mumo. He came on, not for the first time this season, he changed the game. Mumoha's direct style of play caused problems to Bournemouth immediately. He broke into the box and could have gotten a penalty had he gone down under a challenge. Then he did win a free kick a few minutes later when he wove through two Bournemouth players and they could only stop him by pulling him down. That free kick was converted into an equalizer thanks to a clever combination from Mo Salah and Dominic Szoboszlai. If it wasn't for Liverpool's shambolic defending in the final embers of the game, we could easily be talking about another brilliant Mumoha cameo. Alas, we are not. But nonetheless, we should not be brushing past this performance. Mumoha hasn't gotten a lot of minutes this season, yet every time he has come on, he has made a difference. Against Burnley, he racked up an expected assist of 0.18. Against Leeds United, he created 2 chances in the matter of minutes. Earlier on in the season, away from home against Burnley, he created a chance for Jeremy Frimpong, after which Liverpool went on to win a penalty from the resulting throw-in. He scored a dramatic winner against Newcastle United. Mumoha's contributions, though, maybe sometimes going under the radar, have been notable. At this point, it's quite obvious that he is here. He has arrived on the big stage. All that remains is for Slot to unleash him. And he will. He doesn't have another choice. Bournemouth should have been obvious that if he wants Liverpool's form to turn around, he needs Mumoha. Qarabag midweek is going to be the perfect opportunity for him to finally be unleashed.
News headline: Liverpool fans won't believe Arne Slot's latest pathetic excuse for defeat. Arne Slot's latest pathetic excuse is one Liverpool fans will not believe. The Dutchman has had a flurry of bizarre statements this season. At times, it's hard not to sympathize with him because he certainly hasn't had it easy. Slot has had to deal with an entirely new squad and a new group of players. He's had to deal with 3 serious injuries, 2 of them to key players in Connor Bradley and Alexander Isak. Defending a Premier League title under those circumstances is never easy. But at the same time, there are times when Slot doesn't make things easy for himself. There are times when he only has himself to blame. Even amid the turbulent times, even with poor squad depth, Liverpool should never be on a run of games where they have only won 5 of their last 18 matches in the Premier League. Slot makes frustrating decisions, he tactically looks inept, and is constantly outmaneuvered by other managers in the league. Against Andoni Iraola, Slot alluded to in his press conference that he was finally looking forward to not playing a low-block side. He seemed to suggest that this was going to mean Liverpool getting a good result and being able to be a bit more attacking. What it resulted in is Liverpool having an XG of 0.83 in the game, while Bournemouth had 2.30. Iraola's side created far more chances and actually dominated Liverpool. Aside from the 2 set pieces Liverpool scored from, Slot's side could not get past a Bournemouth side who had won just 1 game in their last 14 matches. So, speaking after his press conference, what was Slot's excuse? It is safe to say a few players of ours ran out of energy. I cannot criticize them for that, because 2 days ago we played an away game in Europe, Slot said. Without context, this seems like a reasonable comment to make, but first of all, it was 3 days ago. Liverpool played on Wednesday night, not Thursday. Secondly, it's just a pathetic comment to make when Slot decided to not make any substitutions against Marseille until the 79th minute. That decision was entirely on the manager. He only subbed on Curtis Jones and Cody Gakpo, while having Andy Robertson, Wataru Endo, and Rio Mumo sitting on the bench. He could have easily given minutes to Trey Nioni or any of the other options, maybe even rested Joe Gomez a bit by subbing on Endo, knowing Ibrahima Kanane might be unavailable for the weekend as well, and being fully aware of the England international's injury problems. Slot could have also called up a few academy players and filled up his entire bench, but he didn't. He wasn't thinking about rotation. He wasn't thinking about managing minutes. Blaming exhaustion, blaming a lack of energy from his players is a pathetic excuse to make when he doesn't rotate them. This was always going to happen. He needs to be much better in giving fringe players minutes.
Richard Hughes is about to do something insane at Liverpool. The Reds spent just shy of £450 million in last summer's window. It was a significant investment and a massive squad overhaul. So far, the signings have taken time to settle and the team has not found its balance yet. This was to be expected. Liverpool's signings are young and they will need time to develop and gel together. But while fans are eagerly awaiting next season for them to explode, Hughes and the recruitment team may have other plans. In fact, one of the reasons why they haven't ousted Arne Slot from his job might be down to the fact that this was their plan all along. Not necessarily for Liverpool to perform so badly, but that the Reds would not be completely perfect heading into this season. The most fascinating part of it all is that Hughes could be about to do it again and makes what could be an insane move. We are in January at the moment, and already we are seeing Liverpool letting another key player go in Andy Robertson. In his place, the return of Kostas Tsimikas from his loan spell at AS Roma will provide some depth in the left-back position. But long-term, Liverpool have a problem. Tsimikas will likely not be staying at Anfield as a backup. That means Hughes will need to sign a backup left-back, and that is just the start of his worries. Already there is speculation about the future of Ibrahima Konate, Joe Gomez, Curtis Jones, Mo Salah, and Alexis McAllister. It's a possibility that all of them could leave in the summer window. That's before we even start to talk about the fact that Alisson's and Virgil van Dijk's contracts both expire in 2027. We thought summer 2025 was an insane squad overhaul, but Hughes could be about to do it again. If Konate and Gomez both leave, he'll need to sign at least 2 center-backs to replace the duo. Then there's the right-back question. Connor Bradley is injury-prone. Slot prefers Jeremy Frimpong as a right winger, so potentially Liverpool might need to target another right-back. If Jones or McAllister leaves, that's another midfielder added onto the list of tasks for Hughes and his recruitment team. And this is before we even consider the fact that Liverpool will also need to replace Mo Salah and probably finally replace Luis Diaz in the squad. So we could be looking at a new left-back, a new right-back, 2 new center-backs, a new midfielder, and 2 new wingers likely needing to be brought in this summer. That's 7 new signings, another squad overhaul, and probably around another £450 million spent. In the space of a year, Liverpool could be spending close to £1 billion and completely change the face of the squad. It's an insane move, and it's something we've never before seen. But that is the reality we are facing, and it also means the Reds may only peak not next season, but in 2 or 3 seasons.
News headline: Stunning claims Liverpool preparing €100 million offer for Real Madrid midfielder as multi-layered Tottenham battle unfolds. Liverpool have a huge offer up their sleeves for a Real Madrid midfielder as one of their next priorities, according to Spanish reports, but Tottenham are looking at the same player despite also shortlisting a current member of Arne Slot's own midfield. Liverpool have been expected to see through a quiet January window after their extraordinary summer spending, but they won't be oblivious to opportunities to strengthen their squad. Besides, their form has been unconvincing, raising some questions over their strength and depth. But the latest claims from Spain suggest a bold move could be on the way to rectify some of their issues. Liverpool linked with Tchouaméni. Liverpool are preparing an offer worth €100 million, £86.7 million, for Real Madrid midfielder Aurélien Tchouaméni, according to Ficajes. The report claims that Liverpool's search for a dominant midfielder is a priority, and it has led to them focusing on Tchouaméni again, a player they held interest in before he joined Real Madrid from Monaco in 2022. It suggested that Liverpool are preparing an offer of €100 million for Tchouaméni, which would force Real Madrid into a decision. Liverpool are said to have monitored Tchouaméni for a prolonged period of time, drawing up very positive reports on the player's performance. The recently appointed Álvaro Arbeloa is backing Tchouaméni to continue to play a big part for Madrid, so those kind of factors will have to be weighed up against any financial ones, and it's deemed most likely that Los Blancos will be unmoved. That is, of course, if they genuinely do have anything to respond to. Ficajes aren't renowned as a particularly reliable outlet, and there may well be no such plans by Liverpool to bid for Tchouaméni. For what it's worth, the report also says Tottenham would be willing to pay the same amount for the Frenchman, which would be a landmark signing for them, but doesn't feel like the kind of midfield move they should be prioritizing next. Tottenham eye Liverpool midfielder. Incidentally, Tottenham have been credited with strong interest in Liverpool midfielder Curtis Jones. Jones is now the only Liverpool native in the Reds' first-team squad and has become a regular fixture in their midfield. However, Dave Occop claims Spurs are willing to put £30 million on the table for Jones as their next midfield addition after Conor Gallagher, who they recently signed from Atletico Madrid.
Liverpool, for their part, are likely to have a higher value in mind for Jones, although Dave Ockup's post did claim the 24-year-old may be interested in a new challenge, despite his roots. The reliable Times reporter Paul Joyce has also spoken of Jones being admired by Spurs, so there is something genuine there in terms of interest. The battle to keep Jones and prevent him from being prized away by Tottenham could be a more realistic one between the two clubs than any sort of race for Tchouaméni. Robertson replacement identified. Liverpool are preparing a fresh move for Fulham left-back Anthony Robinson for a long-term successor to Andy Robertson, sources have revealed. Robertson has been heavily linked with a move to Tottenham over the past 48 hours, having fallen behind Milos Kerkez at left-back. Should Robertson depart, the void is likely to be filled by a recall for Kostas Tsimikas from his loan at Roma, but that would only be a short-term measure for the rest of the season. One player who remains on Liverpool's radar for beyond then is Robinson, according to Team Talk's Graham Bailey. Former Everton Academy product Robinson would be open to a Merseyside return with the Reds, although he is still under contract with Fulham till 2028. A deal could be sweetened by the inclusion of Tsimikas going in the opposite direction to Craven Cottage. Fulham would also be interested in taking attacking midfielder Harvey Elliott back from Liverpool, but that could only happen in the summer, as he's already played for two clubs, Liverpool and Aston Villa, where he is out on loan, this season.